can you be a vegan living in China? I don't really know. End of video, I guess. Unless we had a vegan with us.
Hello, I'm a vegan living in China.
Oh, well, there we go. I guess maybe we can go to some kind of vegan restaurant, have a chat and see how easy or how hard being a vegan in China is. All right, let's go. Okay, so we are in this vegan restaurant now, Fortunate's Vegan Cafe, right?
Yes, cafe.
Okay, great. You regularly come here, do you?
Pretty much. This is one of my favorite.
Awesome. So we're going to try some of the food, see how it is, everything. And yeah, so this is Chaniece. And yeah, you're from America?
Yes.
Okay, so when did you become vegan? Was that whilst you were in China or was it before?
It was before, so it was when I was around 16 years old.
Okay, and what made you make that lifestyle choice?
Actually, it's because my grandmother was vegan, and so I didn't understand why anybody would be vegan. I was like, oh, I guess when you get old, you just can't enjoy your food anymore. But I just went and Googled, like, why be vegan? Saw a bunch of videos about it. I didn't watch any documentaries, and I was like, okay, now I see why people are vegan.
Got it. Okay, and I imagine that being in the US, it must be pretty easy to be vegan, right? There must be a whole lot of vegan restaurants. Even like in many meat restaurants, surely you would have a vegan option guaranteed, right?
But it depends, right? Like if you live in New York or you live in Los Angeles, you're going to have a lot of options. I know in the grocery store you have more options, but in Shanghai, it's like the opposite. We might not have as many options in terms of like going to the grocery store, like getting vegan cheese and vegan yogurt. But I think there's over 100 vegetarian restaurants, and a lot of them are default vegan.
I thought there might be like 3 or 4 or something.
Oh, no. Come on, Mr. Shanghai.
If we're talking, yeah, we got our foods. Yeah, so what did you order?
The rendang curry, so it's Indonesian curry.
Let's have a little look. Let's see. Looks very nice. Is this one spicy?
I made it mildly spicy.
Mildly spicy.
Actually, no, I made it medium spicy. I was like, let's turn up the heat this time. So, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so waiting for my food to arrive. I'm starving. So yeah, I don't know. This is like the first time really I've been to a vegan restaurant to eat. So
Wait, aren't you from the UK?
I'm from the UK.
There's a lot of vegan.
I don't know. I just thought vegan restaurants is kind of quite a luxury thing. Maybe it's quite expensive, pricey. Actually, coming here, well, no, it's not too bad.
It's not too bad. Like, you go to buffets, vegan buffets, all vegan, for like 35 kwai.
Wow, that is
A
incredible.
lot of us are very cheap, but you can go to like really, high scale vegan places.
Shanghai, like you said, it's very diverse city. There's for any kind of diet or lifestyle, you've got it. But how about some of the lower tiered cities? You've been in China for quite a while. How did you find going there? Was it quite difficult to eat?
So in 2012, I lived in Urumqi. So this was 2012. This was
Xinjiang, yeah.
Yes, in Xinjiang.
Yeah.
Literally the way I would find restaurants, also in 2010 when I was in Beijing, is I would just be walking down the street. So it just have to be a luck thing. But even in Urumqi, I found a place. I was just walking around and I was like, does that say vegetarian? And I went in and they had like veggie fish and like all the default vegan. I always say vegetarian, but a lot of the stuff is default vegan anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, that was rare. I don't know if they have that many restaurants. I'd have to check to see if they have like more that I didn't have access to at the time. But before I knew about that restaurant, I would just go into any restaurant and just say, hey, I don't eat meat. And, and usually you don't need to worry about like eggs and milk and stuff. A lot of Chinese cuisine, it's just kind of like meat and I think like lard. They'll put like pig fat in some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But usually when I would ask them about lard, they're like, no, we just use like soybean oil. We're not using lard because I guess it's more expensive. Yeah, you just ask. You just get tofu dishes, vegetable dishes. I would just get huge dishes of like tofu, broccoli, or like...
That is true. I've noticed it. I mean, in China, there are so many more vegetable options anyway, like compared to the UK. There's lots of vegetables I've never even heard of before. I don't know. I've never tried okra before, for example, before I come to China.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about it, there are possibilities. So even in lower tiered cities,
so
it can be okay.
If there's nothing, you can literally just go in and they'll have like vegetables. I don't know if you've seen that, where you just pick the vegetable that you want and just tell them the dish you want with the vegetable. Yeah. And a lot of the lower tiered cities, I love that you tend to have those options more. So I'll just be like, this, I want this dish and no meat.
Right.
And you're good.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, a lot of meals as well in China, right? So for example, malatang or hot pot, you can just choose the ingredients. So that would be okay.
You have to be careful.
Be careful, right?
You have to be careful. Like with hot pot, usually the soup bases have some type of like pig fat, cow fat, even the mushroom broth, tomato broth, all of them. So either go to exclusively vegan places or you just tell them, just give me water.
Right.
And we go get the sauces and make our own broth.
Okay.
And you can also use the vegetables that you order to make the broth.
But how about things like Chinese New Year? Because I when I go for Chinese New Year, for me, mostly like meat dishes. I don't know, did you kind of say? Or...
It's the same because they want to be as luxurious as possible.
Yeah.
So it's like generally if you're eating a meal, they might have a couple of dishes that are meat. But like if it's a holiday, they want to show like, you know, it's like a typical holiday. Like in the in the US and the UK, what you probably do, you go all out, right?
Yeah.
So thankfully, my husband is also vegan. So that that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
And when we go to see his family. Thanks, sister.
Right. Yeah.
We go to see his grandmother, and she is totally. I mean, she's completely fine with us being vegan. For the actual meal, though, like that first meal, that first day, I mean, forget it. I mean, we're kind of an afterthought. It's just like two of us against the entire family. So she'll like have a few dishes for us, but after that day, she kind of prioritizes us, and so most of the dishes become vegetable dishes, or she'll be like, the soup is vegan.
Yeah.
Or she'll be like, if he goes to eat some, she'll like slap his hand, like, no, that has meat in it. So she's
should have carried it.
It's really accommodating.
I thought maybe the older generation, maybe they would have thought maybe it would be a different feeling towards veganism or something.
My thinking is, so when we met is when he like had just started. We met because he was like vegan and he needed help becoming vegan, but he was like quite skinny, and he gained weight. He didn't like lose weight. So I think as long as he looks healthy, and grandmas, they love if you put on weight. If he stayed really skinny or not skinnier, she'd probably be like, this isn't good. So for her, it's just the nutrition. Right? Make sure you're getting protein. Make sure you're getting all. His mom is the same way. It's great.
That's brilliant. Okay, great. Okay, so should we begin then? So we've got our food. So I have gone for the sweet and sour chicken nuggets. You can see that. Looks absolutely brilliant. Is it going to be like omni pork or something?
I don't think so.
That tastes just like the real thing,
Really?
Honestly, I'm not just saying that.
I'm honestly always surprised when people say that.
No, I'm not saying it because of the video.
We're not getting paid.
No, absolutely not. But this is actually good.
What does the inside taste like? Sometimes you use like mushroom.
It's not mushroom or anything. It's just like, just like some omni chicken or something like this, or pork.
Oh, okay, that's why then.
Yeah,
I use the texture.
I can't tell. It tastes identical. That is really good. And that's why we're eating this then. Because you've been in China for quite a while, right? How many years?
In Shanghai, 9. In China, it's just an extra year, so 10.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, first time you come to China, and now, did you find that there's like a shift in the perception of veganism in China?
I would say, if specifically Shanghai, there's definitely been more options. There's been like kind of more of a market, but I feel like part of it is people are open to trying new things. They're kind of curious about it. I don't know if it's really tied to veganism in terms of the animals. I think it has more to do with health, and it has more to do with the environment, especially here in Shanghai. So you have more younger people kind of wanting to take more of an eco-friendly approach to doing things. So that seems to be what gets pushed the most.
Okay. What do you personally think the future of veganism is in China?
In China,
Do you think it will become as mainstream as in the West?
China's interesting because it's like certain things seem to take off. Like once I get to China, it can take off very quickly or can be very slow. Right now, I feel like, there's definitely investment, like there are VCs and investment opportunities for companies who want to spread. Usually a lot of it is in alternative products like yogurt or, plant-based meat. Because I do know in terms of the population, people are worried that meat consumption is growing, even though relative to, especially countries like the US, per person, it's much less, like they consume much less meat. But people are worried, as the population grows and as people get more money, it's really a money thing as well. they'll eat more meat. So it's kind of like they're trying to have more investment opportunities. So there is a little bit of pushback. For example, I think there were some celebrities, I think they were Chinese celebrities, who were kind of pushing, but I think they said vegetarianism, and I don't know if they went with veganism. And there's some pushback from that because there are people who might see it as kind of a Western thing. Like, well, in the U.S., they're eating so much meat, and they're trying to tell us that we need to eat less when we don't eat nearly as much as them. So sometimes it turns into that, and when you're talking about the environment specifically, because like we're not doing nearly as much as they are. So sometimes you have a little bit of that, but I don't know. I feel like just the younger generation in general tends to be a little bit more open. But in general, people tend to be more open. Like all of my friends
In Shanghai, yeah?
in Shanghai, I'm trying to think like outside of, because we haven't really had the experience of taking friends to like a vegan place in a different city.
Yeah.
Actually, I think once in Urumqi, I took a guy to the vegetarian restaurant I told you I found. And he was like so impressed. Like the vegetarian restaurants in China are like on another level. Like the way they do their meat alternative. I think tofu was like the first alternative meat product that was created 3,000 years ago, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's like they're really good with their alternatives here. So it just surprises me so many people haven't tried it, but a lot of people are open to trying it.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Chaniece, then for bringing me here. Yeah, I love it. I'll definitely come again, and also to the other so many vegan or vegetarian restaurants in Shanghai. Really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you guys learn a little bit more about how veganism is in China. If you're thinking about coming to China and you're a vegan, you're not sure, is it possible?
Okay.
Shanghai seems the best option. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys again. Cheers.